Hello everybody. This is Monty with Flowers by the Bunch. Today I wanted to make a pretty arrangement using anemones. Now, I don't use them very often. They are what I would consider somewhat of a fancier flower. And so we actually got these, we ordered these from a company called Budsy. And Budsy is where we get, I would say I order 95% of all my fresh flowers from them. I absolutely love this company. The quality is amazing and they have all the flowers we ever need. They carry roses and lilies and anemones and ranunculus and peonies. They carry all of the types of flowers that you may ever need. You do buy them in bulk, but it is such a wonderful company. The quality is fantastic. So today we are going to make a pretty arrangement using this pretty container that I picked up from an estate sale. For me personally, I think the thrill of the hunt is the most fun, and to find a container that will hold beautiful flowers that didn't cost very much and you can make such interesting fun arrangements is the highlight of my weekend. I so enjoy picking up fun containers. So I am going to use this pretty container, and I'm also going to use a pincushion frog. Now this pincushion frog is what we would call an armature. I also picked it up from the same estate sale that I got this container, and she had lots of different frogs, but this one actually has little steel pins. And so what you'll do is, it was used exactly like floral foam is used today. You're going to take this, it's pretty heavy, it has a good weight on the bottom. You take this, you can put that floral putty on the bottom and stick it into your container. This is heavy enough and my container is just the right size to hold it. I'm going to tuck this right down into the water. And then I'm going to use that pin cushion to just stick my flowers right down onto that little pin cushion. Now an armature is kind of a grid. It's something that holds the flowers in place. And so recently you have seen me design with chicken wire or floral mesh, where I have taken it and kind of balled it up and stuck it in. And what it's doing is it's giving me a really good grid. This pin cushion is going to do exactly the same thing. It's going to give me that grid and it's going to hold those flowers in place. I'm going to start out by adding, I think I am going to add some forsythia and some bridal wreath spirea first. So here in Mississippi, our bushes, our blooming spring bushes are beginning to bloom, which is so exciting. And so I went out, I went to my neighbor's house and I went and cut some forsythia, and then I cut some bridal wreath spirea. Now both of these are just blooming bushes. And so the forsythia is just all of these beautiful yellow blooms. And then the bridal wreath is little tiny white blooms. And it's just a shrub that just blooms all these pretty little white blooms. So I'm going to start out by adding some of these branches into my container. Now I'm just going to kind of go with a whimsy design. It's not going to be too fixed or too perfect. I'm taking those branches, and you can see how it's just going to stand once I tuck it right into those pins. Taking my floral knife, I'm just cutting that little stem at an angle, and I am just pressing it right down in between those pins. Now the one thing about the spirea is my branches aren't very large, so they're not really wanting to stick down on the pins very well, but the pins do hold it. So using this knife, I'm just going to cut my little branches, and I'm kind of just going whimsy Okay, so I have the bridal wreath spirea, my little branches tucked into my arrangement. Next, I'm going to come in with some of this really pretty yellow forsythia. I'm going to take my floral knife, cut that stem at an angle, and I am just going to press those branches right down on those little pins of that little armature. I think going out and cutting things out of your yard and making a beautiful arrangement out of things that you gathered can be one of the most fun parts of floral design. You can be so creative with so many different things that you just cut out of the yard. All right, so there's my forsythia. Next, I am going to come in with these beautiful anemones. Again, I ordered these anemones from Budsy, which is just a floral company. If you are ever interested in ordering flowers, if you have a flower shop and you are interested in a place to order some pretty flowers, message me and I would be happy to give you their information. Again, I have been so pleased with the quality. So you can see how I'm just kind of, that little stem was bent, so I'm going to cut it. I'm just kind of tucking these anemones right down on that pin frog. Just press those stems right down on that pin, and you can see how they're just standing up so well. Now, I will say that you are probably not going to want to really design this arrangement and then deliver it somewhere, because this little pin frog is not going to necessarily hold it in place to be able to move it really well, but it does hold it really well just to design on your table. Now, the wonderful part about using an armature in floral design and using fresh water is flowers are so much happier in fresh water than they are in floral foam. So if you ever have the opportunity to use frogs and different armatures, use them. You will find that your flowers will last so much longer using an armature. And you can see this might have been a branch and a half of the forsythia. That was one branch of the bridal wreath spirea. And so it didn't take much to cut out of the yard. You just had to cut out a little bit to be able to make this beautiful design in this container. Now, when designing flowers and having them on your table at home, the main thing is to make sure they have plenty of water. You're going to continue to water them every other day, every day. You can continue to water them and they will last a really long time, so much longer than you ever expected. Anemones are fairly fragile and not extremely long-lasting flowers, but they are so lovely with their dark centers. And they have beautiful little petals. They're just very delicate, pretty flowers. And I love the way these have like a little hint of blush. They're not very blush. They're not completely pink. They have a lot of white in them, but they have a little kiss of blush on those petals, which is really pretty. And you can see I'm just kind of going all the way around in this design with those anemones. Next, I am going to come in with some sword fern. I had thought I would use a little solidago, but I don't think so. I think it's beautiful just with the forsythia and the bridal wreath spirea. Next, I'm going to come in with my sword fern. So I'm just going to take the blade or the frond. I'm going to remove some of the greenery from the bottom, and I'm just going to tuck that right into the water. Again, you can just strip off those bottom fronds and just tuck that sword fern right in. Now, while you're out foraging for your forsythia and your bridal wreath, you can cut greenery if any greenery is pretty in your yard. Right now there's not a whole lot of greenery that's pretty outside. We do have right now I can get Nandina, which I really like to work with Nandina. It's long lasting in floral arrangements and it's kind of lacy and pretty. But I ordered this pretty sword fern in from Budsy also, and it's so lovely, and it's very interesting. It kind of gives you a really pretty effect. And you can see I'm just kind of tucking it in. It is not actually going into the frog itself. It's just kind of intertwining with the blooms. And so it's holding right into the arrangement without any problems whatsoever. Oh, it's so pretty. Now this sweet little delicate arrangement could be used on a table really for anything, certainly for your enjoyment. But I could see using this at a sweet little bridal shower or a baby shower where you use just these little delicate blooms. It's so nice to be able to use all these beautiful spring blooms in an arrangement. And you see it didn't take a whole lot. It's not a really full fancy arrangement, but it's so pretty and delicate with all of these little blooms. And there you have it. Look how simply that arrangement went together using that pincushion frog. Again, it's weighted, so it's set right down on the bottom of this container, and I filled the container with fresh water. You do want to add water to this probably every other day at least, and your flowers will last so much longer. I will say that the bridal wreath spirea, it does shed some. So you have to be kind of careful with that because it does shed, but it really does make such a lovely display in a floral arrangement. Guys, thank you so much for being here. If you have any questions about how we do things here at Flowers by the Bunch, you can always ask. We would love to answer your questions. Do me a favor, be sure to hit the like button so that other people can see us. And if you have not subscribed to our channel, hit that subscribe button right down below. If you'll hit the bell, it'll give you notifications for when we have a brand new video. Thanks guys, we'll see you soon.